to Do Go On. My name is Jess Perkins. I am without the boys at the moment because this week's episode is actually our first ever live Do Go On. It was so incredibly exciting. As part of the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, we recorded our first ever show on the 2nd of April 2017 at the Imperial Hotel. We had such a good time hanging out with some of the listeners and getting to do this live in front of people. It was super strange, but just the absolute best. So what we've got for you is a really fun report. I hope you enjoy it. You'll be able to hear other people other than the three of us, which is a bloody treat. So enough rambling from me. Without further ado, I will now throw to the first ever live Do Go On. Enjoy.
First ever live Do Go On right here at the...
Do I stand? I don't know what to do.
You can do what you like,
right.
As long as I tell you that you are at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. How you doing? Yeah! Hello, my name is Dave and I'm standing on stage. That's right, well, I'm about to sit on stage with two of the best. We have one of the best beards in the business. It is Mr. Matt Stewart, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, wow. What a pleasure to be here. Hey, how are you going? From
Matt.
Ballarat. Yes, all right.
Not now.
For
Matt.
everyone else, it looks like Matt had just identified a man with a red beard in the crowd and said,
Hey!
Nice.
Hey!
I mean, that is what happened as well.
Yes, that is totally what happened. And I'm also on stage with the best laugh in the biz for sure. It's Jess Perkins, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This is so cool.
Oh my goodness, we are very excited that you actually turned up and that you're people.
Real
you're
people.
real.
Normally, you're just numbers to us.
And now you're just cash to us. So we're all good.
You dogs.
Yeah.
Hey, quick round of applause for who's listened to the podcast before. All right. Has anybody, and there's no shame in this, has anybody been dragged along by a friend and you have no idea where you are? It's you, okay. Welcome.
They put their hands up instead of clapping.
Which is very polite.
Obviously, you never heard the show before. We're very clap-centric on this show. But
Very
we'll get there. No, thank you. That's a great
Welcome.
clap.
You're welcome. This is a safe place. Yeah, this is very
Do you
exciting.
want to explain to her what this is about?
I think Dave will do that.
All right, great.
Oh, God.
Dave,
Well,
here
if
we
you
go.
haven't heard the show or seen the show or clapped along with the show at home, this is a show where one of us does a report on a topic that the other two have no idea what they are going to talk about. And for our first ever live show, we've handed over the reins to one Jessica Perkins
You idiots.
to report on a topic that Matt and I genuinely have no idea what you're about to talk about.
That's right. Yeah, what an exciting time in my life.
It's also dangerous, I think, because usually if it's, say, for example, an offensive or racist topic, we could just hit delete when we go into the studio. But now
Because we
actually...
so often do offensive
Well,
and racist topics.
What you will not know is that we've released 75 of 600 episodes recorded so far.
Oh boy, do we have some opinions.
Oh, God. They're terrible.
I don't know if you know this about Dave, but he has a certain sympathy.
That is not true. That is not true.
That we know of. Hey, I also want to point out that some of you may have noticed that Matt has got a beer in his hand, which is to character.
Oh, what? All right. I mean, you've
I'm also
got
holding
to
a side of it. You know, it's
What I'm
you're
most
the
worried
drinky
about
one.
tonight is, apart from talking over you and not being able to edit it out to make me not seem like a bad feminist, but also I'm worried about the fact that we normally don't have any time restraints at all, and we've started to roll out over 2-hour episodes. Today we've got to keep it to
Someone
a very
just nodded
tight,
like, yeah, 2 hours. It's a long time.
Yeah, you have. We recently got a Facebook message that just said, guys, I love the show, but learn to fucking edit.
That's the worst part. Every week we edit out about 20 minutes. Oh, it's terrible.
We're just good mates. We like
We
having
have
a
a
chat.
good time.
No, but today we will keep it, well, we have to keep it to time, or Ellen will kick us out of here anyway, so that's good, I guess. It's nice to have a mother figure to discipline us.
Yeah, but we don't want to get to the halfway through the episode and you guys not know what happens, and we have to go into some sort of alleyway out in Melbourne. You gather around and we say, and the end of the story was... No one knows. It's a mystery. It's a mystery episode. That could happen.
And then we get beaten up.
Oh.
Not another mystery. Yeah, okay, so it is my turn. Do you want me to just get stuck in because we are under time constraints?
Did you
Do you want
write
to
a
do some
question?
more banter?
Oh, yeah, the banter has been strong.
Yeah. Did I write a question?
Did you write a question?
Matthew, do you know me at all?
Well, to the lady that hasn't no idea what's going
okay.
on, we normally start the show with a question, and then that somehow that annoys people listening at home because they already know the topic. But we don't.
And you don't either.
Yes.
I spoke to our listener Rowan downstairs, who's one of our Patreon supporters, and he told me that this is the first time that he'll be hearing the episode and also not knowing what the topic is. So this 10 minutes at the start is actually not annoying for once. So that's good.
For once.
We're gonna find out.
Because normally it's get on with
Yeah.
it. We know. We live these lives.
We'll learn to edit, and you'll learn to hit the skip button. That's what we'll all do. So, Jess, over to you for your question to get us on topic.
My question that I am writing in my head as I speak right now.
And if we can't get it, then you guys
jump in.
can help us out.
Jump in. This is exciting.
But let Matt have a terrible go first because it's amusing.
This is going to be very distracting as well because, we are stand-up comedians, so it's kind of like having an audience. I just feel I'm always like, and I've got a report to do, so none of that, you guys. Okay.
There will be no comedy on this show.
You didn't come here for the laughs. Okay, my question, boys and audience, is who are the coolest
Oh, God.
British mobsters of the 60s?
The coolest British...
I panicked.
What are you basing coolness on?
Oh, I mean, just being red.
Is it the Beatles because they stole everyone's hearts?
No.
Oh.
We've done them.
Oh, yeah, of course. We actually did. We have done that.
I'd never heard of these particular people.
Are they related to each other?
Yes, Matthew.
I think I know who it is. I can't think of their name.
John.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
And what was it? Pete Best.
Yes.
You
Okay.
nerd.
Good twist there.
Okay, yeah, what do you
I
think?
had
You
to
said
get
there wasn't
somewhere.
going to be any comedy, and then you come up with that. Well,
Thank you so much.
What are you thinking? Matt,
it's not the Von Trapps, but it's something like that. Isn't it? The Von Trapp twins.
It is the something twins.
The Crap twins?
No, but get rid of the last letter.
The Kray Twins.
Kray
boys.
Twins.
Yes.
The Kray Twins. Anybody here heard of the Kray Twins? A couple of hands raised.
Let's throw it over to the audience.
Hang on, I heard a yo. Was that Mum? Is that you, Mum? Have you heard of it? Yeah. Oh, cool. It's my mum. Anyway, so there you go. The Kray Twins. A few people have heard of them. A few people haven't.
How about a round of applause if you've heard of the
that's
Kray Twins? How
Polite
about a round of applause if you are one of the Kray Twins? Oh! We've got both in tonight. This is good.
Good, they can fill in any gaps, of which there'll be many.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I'm not actually au fait with the Kray in any respect.
Did you think of that as soon as we said Kray?
No, that just came out of me. I'm a bad man.
That just came out of me.
A lot of stuff comes out of me, and that is one of the things I'm less proud of that comes out of me.
Au fait with Kray. Anyway, okay, I will start us off. So, Ronnie and Reggie Kray, also great names. There's a lot of good nicknames through this one, by the way. Oh my God, the best. Anyway, Ronnie and Reggie Kray. They were born on the 24th of October, 1933.
Oh, that has just made my fucking life. Yes.
I'm done.
That is so good.
Oh, Jess has left the stage.
Well, I'll take over here.
She often does that back in the studio as well.
That is the best thing that's ever happened.
I can't believe you
Don't
guys did
read
that.
ahead.
Don't encourage
Wow.
her.
Don't read ahead.
This is a great story, guys. You're going to love this.
For the lovely listeners of people here today who haven't heard before, that's my catchphrase. It's probably one of the coolest catchphrases that's ever existed.
A good year. It sounds like you're someone from Antiques Roadshow valuing some wine. Oh, a good year, darling. Oh, a good year, a good year.
That's how I mean it also. Okay, so they were born on the 24th of October 1933 to Charles David Kray, who is a scrap gold dealer. So he sounds fun already.
Does he go through bins looking for gold? What if someone's thrown out their gold? That's very unlikely.
Where else are you going to find it? So they were identical twins. Reggie was 10 minutes older than Ronnie.
I bet he always held that over him.
I bet. They didn't really seem to have the easiest of childhoods. When the twins were 3 years old, they contracted diphtheria. It's really hard to say.
A good disease.
If you're going to get any, that's a good one.
That's Matt's catchphrase.
A good disease. And also, Ronnie almost died when they were 9 years old from a head injury he suffered in a fight with his brother. Sounds like my childhood.
Well, you had diphtheria and then you got bashed by your brother.
Yeah.
While your dad was diving for gold in a bin. Gold scrap? What the fuck is that? I've never heard that. Have you heard of that?
A gold scrap. Anyway, I don't know. At the beginning of the Second World War, their father Charles, who was 32 at the time, was conscripted into the army, but he refused to go and went into hiding.
Because there ain't no gold in the trenches. He's looked.
He's like, nah, I'm good. Now, their grandfather, his name was Jimmy Cannonball Lee, nicknamed Cannonball. Oh, fuck yeah!
Yeah, that's real good.
First of many good nicknames for this one. Cannonball Lee, he encouraged them to take up amateur boxing. And sibling rivalry really spurred them on, and both achieved some success in their boxing careers.
So what their grandfather's done is he's seen one of the twins bash the other twins and said, I know what you need to do. You need to learn to punch professionally.
Yeah, you need to improve your technique.
That's not a good cannonball of a grandfather.
They're said to have never lost a match before they turned professional at age 19, so they were good little boxers.
Had they ever done a match then?
No, but you know, it's
because
like...
I also have never lost a boxing match.
Matt, have you?
Yeah. Just been in the one and was not good.
Good to know.
Look at my face. Oh. Geez, that was a real moment early.
Hey.
That's fine.
All right, I'm going to go on.
All right, please do.
Thank
go
you.
on.
Now, the Kray Twins were notorious for their gang that they formed and for its violence, and they narrowly avoided being sent to prison many times. Conscription was quite normal back in the day, in that time, and they were called up to serve with the Royal Fusiliers. Is that right? Thank you.
Thank you
Fusiliers. That's what I said.
Major fact check up the back there. We appreciate that. We'll be chiming in with all the military history of this episode.
So they were called up to serve with the Fusiliers in 1952. They reported, so they turned up, but they attempted to leave after a couple of minutes. They were like, hey, we're here. Nah.
They're slightly better than their dad.
Yeah, they at least turned up. So the corporal in charge tried to stop them, but Ronnie punched him on the chin, leaving him seriously injured, and they walked home. They just went home. And then they were arrested the next morning and turned over to the army. So they were in the army at some point. But they didn't really want to be there, which is interesting. Now, while in the army but technically absent without leave, they assaulted a police constable who tried to arrest them one night. These are nice boys. This is a fun fact. They were among the last prisoners held at the Tower of London before they were transferred to the Shepton Mallet military prison.
Is that true?
Yes.
No, you're right. The first one was military.
Yeah.
Military. Their behaviour in prison was so bad that they both received dishonourable discharges from the army. They tried to dominate the exercise area outside their one-man cells. They were only in prison for a few weeks and they're like, nah, we own this place. I like them.
Jess always sides with the more violent characters in the show.
I like a bad boy. They threw tantrums. They emptied their latrine buckets over a sergeant. They dumped a container full of hot tea on another guard. They handcuffed a guard to their prison bars with a pair of stolen cuffs, and they set fire to their bedding.
Would you rather have poo put on you, hot tea, or would you rather be set on fire?
I mean, what a question, Dave. Matt?
Can't we have all three?
So they were moved to a communal cell where they assaulted their guard with a china vase.
Hang on, so they're in solitary confinement, they've fucked up, so then they're put out of solitary confinement.
Yeah, they're put with other bad people.
What's wrong with this prison?
No, that will teach them. All right, the next bit is they're going to have learnt their lesson, and I think there's a real twist coming here, where they start to, just teach kids good stuff, mainly, and how to be nice.
They go into,
also
they're
a little bit of
philanthropists.
Philanthropy on the side.
Philanthropy.
I've heard this one before, but go on anyway.
It's a good story.
I'm interested to hear your take on it.
So they assaulted a guard and they escaped, and they were quickly recaptured and awaited transfer to civilian authority for crimes committed while at large. And they spent their last night drinking cider, eating crisps, and smoking cigarillos, courtesy of the young national servicemen acting as their guards. They're just hanging out. Just hanging out like a couple of rad dudes.
Cigarillos. I've never heard cigarettes said so wrong. But
You were very close.
yeah, cigarillos. You're a maniac. As we know. I mean, we know that well.
Yeah, we
you
know
guys
that well.
That, but
Okay.
you do worry sometimes, don't you?
Are you talking to me when you say you do worry? No, I
I'm not,
don't worry
I'm really
at all.
not that sure. Look, I've been zoning in and out so far. I'm just trying to hold on to what this story's about. Two guys, right? This is what I've heard so far. Two guys having a bit of a tough time, but, you know, things are looking good now, right? Is that where we're at?
Did you hear it like 1 minute of the past 10?
Yes.
Yeah. This happens a lot. This happens a
Yeah,
lot.
he zones out a lot, but that's okay. We zone out on his as well, so it's fine.
I've got a very relaxing voice.
It's very soothing.
Yeah.
It's like meditation. Okay, so then we move on to their criminal careers, because their criminal records and their dishonourable discharge from the army sort of ended their boxing careers.
Oh, now
I
that's
know.
the saddest thing I've heard so far. They were
They're
quite
like,
promising.
oh, we just want to... What?
When they had a promising
They
career.
were promising. I mean, they were unbeaten. I mean, they never fought, but they were unbeaten.
Quit while you're
So
ahead.
they never got to fight.
They never got to fight. No, well, so because they were bad boys, they didn't. The boxing community were like, no, thank you, only nice boys for us. And so the brothers turned to crime full time. You know, they were like, let's settle down and commit to crime. So they bought a rundown snooker club in Bethnal Green, where they started several. Oh, shut up!
I thought they were just
We're
big
having
fans.
fun too. We're learning, you nerds.
Yeah, wrestling nerds. Who would ever talk about wrestling? Oh, we did 3 weeks ago for 2 hours. For 2 hours.
I was starting to plug their podcast at the end of that episode, and then Jess, I think, was like, you know, they clash with us? And anyway,
Yeah, you
look, it
regret
sounds
that?
like I probably brought in a crowd for them.
Yeah, that's right. They're
welcome.
only full because of our plug.
They're welcome. Let's meet them in an
Is
alleyway after
everyone...
and beat them up.
No one in here is like, fuck, we're in the wrong room, right?
They're like, yeah, but when are they going to talk about wrestling?
Yeah,
I'm getting to it.
this incredible long backstory that they've created for a new wrestler called the Kray Twins, and it's one dude with split personalities, but they're both just a thug. The first one-man tag team champion. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool. Okay, so the Kray Twins, who are two people, they bought a snooker club and they started several protection rackets, right? So, like, you give us a couple bucks, we'll sit... I can't do accents.
No, but have a go.
You want Matt to do it? Agreed. Matt? Come on.
Give me my line.
So, so you know, like, you give us money and we'll protect you.
Hey there, good squire. Give me a couple of dollars, pounds, and we'll look after you quick, smart, right, yo. Cup of tea, all right?
But
Pretty good, pretty good.
Don't clap because Jess asked you to clap.
I told you, I'm like, audience.
that was the most threatening thug I've ever heard.
Cup of tea. Ooh,
Cup of tea. Oh, he means business.
Oh, hello. Right,
Well,
so
you
they
know what
started...
they did with tea just recently? Cup of tea on your fucking face.
Oh, yeah. Cup of tea on your fucking face. Put that on a
Are we
t-shirt.
swearing today? I can't remember.
Too late.
Any kids in? All right.
Too late. Okay, so...
That was live at the Melbourne International Preschool. I'm so sorry.
So all these toddlers very confused. Okay, so they've got their protection ring, and by the end of the 1950s, the Krays were involved in hijacking, armed robbery, and arson, through which they acquired other clubs and properties. They just beat their way around, which is great. I think that's savvy business.
That's terrible.
In 1960, Ronnie Kray was in prison for 18 months for running a protection racket and related threats. While Ronnie was in prison, a guy called Peter Ratchman head of a violent landlord operation. You know those violent landlords?
I just complained to mine about my key won't open the front door. No more they're going to pour a latrine bucket on my head. I'm so sorry. I don't need to get inside after all. Matt comes round.
All right, there. Problem with your key there, do you? All right. Well, we got two options. One of them involves this latrine bucket.
Oh, okay, what's option 2?
Option 2, I'll just let you in. No worries at all. What do you choose? Choose wisely.
Oh, it's terrible. In my mind, I already chose 1 before I had 2.
No, all right, here's the bucket. Have a good one. Nah, here's the key. Good on you. Have a nice day.
So now you've dumped the bucket on him and given him a key.
I'm very confused.
Look, it was a weird act out, but I enjoyed it.
That
right.
would have been edited out if we...
if we could edit.
Man, I do some act outs that get edited out.
Sometimes he goes off for like 6 minutes talking to himself. I go out, I go to the John, I come back, he's still talking like a cockney.
He doesn't realise we've gone. In 1960, Ronnie Kray... Oh, no, I already said that. Never mind. I would have edited that out. So Peter Ratchman, he was the violent landlord. He gave Reggie a nightclub called Esmeralda's Barn on the Knightsbridge end of the Wilton Place, next to a bistro called Jones Kitchen. Now, that is a fun sentence to say in that accent. And I'll try. He's gone and given Reggie a nightclub called Esmeralda's Barn down on Knightsbridge. Fuck you. It's down on the Knightsbridge end of Wilton Place. My character also has a speech impediment.
Hey, it's real.
It's very endearing.
Esmeralda's Barn is the most English-sounding nightclub I've ever heard. As well.
It's barn. Is it
You had
barn?
nothing to follow that up with.
Is the nightclub barn themed?
Like, I mean, what I just said makes no sense at all. Barn? Oh, it's so English. It's a barn.
Esmeralda, the most English name I've ever heard.
What am I talking about? I think I might sit the rest of the episode out, actually.
No, you stay here, and
Okay.
you just zone in and out as you do. So him getting this new nightclub sort of increased their influence in the West End by making them celebrities as well as criminals. You really can have it all.
Imagine if our celebrities these days were people that owned nightclubs.
There's famous mobsters.
Shane Warne owns Bar 23 at Crown Casino.
No,
There you go.
Barn 23. And it is barn themed, and also Warnie themed. It's a pastiche of all the best things about England. You know, English barns. I'm looking at Matt like, you did this. You did this.
You did this to us. Okay. So in the 60s, they were widely seen as prosperous and charming celebrity nightclub owners and were part of the swinging London scene. I thought clicking on that link was going to take me to, like, here's what a swinger is. But no, it's just like it was art and culture and other bullshit, so...
Do you need us to tell you what a swinger is?
Yes! No.
Well, when a mummy and a daddy love each other very much, well, they also love everyone else very much. They have a party...
With the keys in the bowl.
in a barn.
With the keys in a barn.
You throw your keys in a barn, and then you feel around and try and find the keys.
And then you go home.
And you call your weird landlord.
Okay, so a large part of their fame was due to their non-criminal activities, which is good. As popular figures on the celebrity circuit, they were photographed by famous photographer David Bailey on more than one occasion. So, like, more than once means you're fancy. They socialised with lords, MPs, socialites, and show business characters, including actor Judy Garland and singer Frank Sinatra. Ever heard of him?
Love Frank.
They were mates with Frank, which is kind of cool.
He was a bad boy of crooning as well, though, Frank.
Uh-huh.
I think maybe the baddest boy of crooning.
Interesting.
Name a badder boy of crooning. You can't. Yeah,
Michael
look, no one
Bublé.
can.
Yeah.
Bublé, all right, yeah, fair enough.
He's a bad
top
boy.
two. Top two.
The boobs.
Frank is top 2.
Frank's the top 2 bad boy of crooning. Anyway, this is a quote from Ronnie Kray from his autobiography called My Story.
Oh,
Absolute
that's good.
shocker. Absolute shocker. It should have been called My Kray Life. Or my life, ... It was, or it's so Kray. My life, it's so Kray.
Okay.
My story.
My story. Yeah. Look, they weren't creatives. Anyway, so this is a quote.
Creatives.
Creative.
They
My
were
life
creative.
story.
This is a quote from Ronnie. He said, they were the best years of our... Actually, Matt, do you want to read it in the accent?
Not really.
Yeah, okay, cool. Read this bit. Read that bit there.
Not wearing my glasses.
Come on, Dad.
What that? They were the best years of our lives. They called them the swinging 60s. The Beatles, the Rolling Stones were rulers of pop music.
My favourite bit is that Dave is mouthing along.
I'm making sure he doesn't say the wrong thing about his glasses.
Carnaby Street ruled the fashion world. And me and my brother ruled London. We were fucking untouchable. Oh, yeah. I felt tough.
Yeah. You look
Anyone want to take me on now? like you did earlier for some reason. Yeah? Beard on beard? Action? What's going on?
Is that your biography?
Yeah.
Beard on beard action?
Beard on beard action, yeah. Come up with a better one.
I like that you think you sounded tough after you went, we were fucking untouchable. Oh, tough guy.
Is that even English? I don't know if...
I'm not sure anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so the
What I was doing there was the guy from that coffee ad in the 90s, which you guys are too young to remember.
Here we go. Referencing something from the 1890s. Here we bloody go. Here we go.
Yeah, tell us the story, Dad.
Oh, yeah, good point.
No, go on.
No, you go on.
No, we want to know.
Does anyone remember that ad? There was a guy in the supermarket who goes...
Well, and he said, I was fucking untouchable.
Yeah, she goes, oh, you're so exotic.
Yeah,
oh.
I remember
and she thinks he's from somewhere else, right? And then so she's expecting him to have a different accent. And he goes, oh, Swampsy, how wonderful. Worth telling. Thank you. And... Oh, yeah.
Got a round of applause. Matt just quoted an obscure ad and got a round of applause.
This is a big hit ad. If you were alive then, you would have loved it. And I reckon you would have been applauding me yourself, to be honest.
All right,
Just
mate.
like they did moments ago.
Okay.
The silence you're hearing now was nothing on
It's
that.
respect.
Okay.
It's respectful silence. And them thinking, hurry the fuck up. And I shall. The Krays also came into the public attention in July of 1964.
Oh, great.
If I hold long enough, someone will say it. 1964, with an expose, I love that word so much, in the tabloid newspaper Sunday Mirror, insinuating that Ronnie had had a sexual relationship with Lord Boothie, who was a Conservative politician. You're laughing at Boothie? It's pretty good.
It sounds
I am
made up.
Lord Boothie. I'm not taking that guy seriously at all. So apparently, they had insinuated that they had had a sexual relationship at the time when male homosexuality was still a criminal offence in the UK.
Male homosexuality.
Yeah, that's what I noticed when I read it. I was like, female homosexuality, totally fine.
Interesting.
Okay.
That
Male
is
homosexuality,
interesting.
not okay at the time.
I'm just avoiding that so much.
Probably.
I don't want to say the wrong thing here. So
What?
Matt was looking at me like, huh? Is that
No,
right?
no,
Is that
no.
right? And I'm like, I'm not an expert in criminal law from the 1960s.
Interesting.
You said you left it alone, but you talked more about it than anyone else.
Now, the thing about the 1960s...
Okay, so there was this expose. Although no names were printed in the piece, the twins threatened the journalist involved, and Boothby...
No names were printed in the piece.
No, but they
A man
threatened-
and a man had a relationship. All right, I think I know who they're talking about. They're talking about me, and I'm going to fucking kill him! It's like, mate, you could have probably just left this one alone, and no one would have even looked at you. This is crazy. It's crazy.
Your face!
Yeah. A charming face.
The way I don't really like it that much because normally we'd be sitting more like this.
Yeah.
So do you mind if we do it like this?
Yeah. Is that okay with you guys? Is that alright?
Is that all right?
Is that okay with you?
I don't do that much face work, so let me know if this is troubling in any way, but it makes me feel more comfortable. I feel so weird up there. No good. All right. You all right with this? He looks
Yeah,
disappointed. Dave's a real showman and he follows like show rules. He's He's got the big showy voice and that sort of... Anyway.
What the I follow the show rule of you shouldn't host the show from the audience.
Or with
Mate.
your back to the audience.
Yeah, very old school.
These
Frank
people...
Sinatra doesn't follow rules like that.
Okay,
I'm
so...
from the Frank School of Showbiz. And the Frank School says, fuck you, Dave.
Now, Matt, I want to point out to you, you didn't see this, but there's a gentleman in the front row. Forgive me, I don't know your name.
How do you...
You don't know your name either. Fair enough, fair enough. But what happened was, he'd been watching the show for half an hour, hasn't taken a photo. Matt sat with his back to the man. He pulls out a camera and takes a photo. Like this has been the highlight of the show. Matt's back of his head.
Well, I feel like the front of my head should be offended by that. But,
You got a good
it's
back
not.
ahead.
It's not. I'm unaware enough to take that as a compliment.
You good?
Alright.
You comfy? You set?
Yeah.
So-
Anyone got another beer? I'm almost done.
I don't have another beer with me.
For
You
the
can
benefit of
make it.
everyone at home, Matt has decided to leave the stage, sit in the crowd, and face Jess and I.
Genuinely, if this is no good, let me know. But
Pull your pants up.
I
was
don't
a
know why I
female.
decided to wear the smallest pants I own. These
It's
are Dave
great.
Warnicky sized, and I've squeezed into them.
It's great that we're doing this on the one episode we have time constraints.
Yeah,
That's
great.
good.
Please do go
Oh,
on.
thank you so much. Yeah, there we go.
Now I'm getting the worst view ever. This is awful.
Leave him, he's
Matt's
comfy.
groin is facing... It's looking at me. There were no names printed, but I know who he's looking at. I know. I'll fucking kill him! Sorry, Ron. I'm a little touchy on that subject. The 1960s was a horrible time. Now we just have to wait.
I thought I got it. Okay, I'm alright. Okay, no, I'm fine. Alright, we don't have a lot of time. Okay, what was I up to? Boothby.
Yeah, Boothby.
Holy shit, that was minutes ago.
You did this.
Okay. in
Okay,
some ways.
so no names were printed, but the twins were very upset, weren't they, Dave? Oh, it's so good.
I don't even know what Jess is laughing at.
It hurts. Okay, right. So the twins threatened to beat up the journalist, and Boothby threatened to sue the newspaper. And because of this, the newspaper backed down. They sacked their editor. They printed an apology, and they paid Boothby £40,000 in an out-of-court settlement.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Which is like quite a lot of influence for these like scary twins to have, if you think about it. Like that's kind of weird. And because of this, other newspapers said like they were unwilling to expose the Kray's connections in criminal activity, so they were kind of safe in the media now. Oh, they're a bit sneaky. If you want to get Matt a beer while you're out, that's fine. I'm good, but thank you so much. So on several occasions, the police investigated the Krays, but the brothers' reputation for violence made witnesses afraid to testify. So that's the other thing that kind of makes them safe. Like nobody will speak out against them. Genius.
Should we be I don't want to guess the ending, but should we be worried that we're talking about them in a public forum?
Nah, they did.
Oh, good.
So now I just want to talk about a few of their crimes and ordeals, if I may.
A few good crimes.
A few good crimes. Ronnie Kray shot and killed George Cornell, who was an associate of the Richardsons, which was a rival gang. Less cool name than, like, the Kray Boys. That wasn't their gang name, but it should have been.
What was their gang name?
I don't know.
Oh, they don't have a gang name.
They're Krays.
The Barn Boys.
Probably the Barn Boys.
That's a great name.
It's not-
Don't you at that. The Barn Boys.
Sorry about that, Dave. Sorry to tisk there.
Yeah, that was
Nobody
you.
could see you tisking.
No,
Mate, that's the thing.
I was tisking real hard.
You were tisking. So he shot and killed George Cornell at the Blind Beggar Pub, great pub name, in Whitechapel on the 9th of March in 1966. A good year, I'll get to it.
Blind Beggar Pub. That is the most English sounding...
Took me a sec to get that. I was like, oh, it's a reference from before.
It was very witty.
You're very funny.
And also Whitechapel, Jack the Ripper, anybody?
Yeah.
No one.
Would anyone like Jack the Ripper? I'm taking requests.
We're selling abdomen capes. No, bowel capes.
Abdomen.
We'll be signing bowel capes after the show. You can BYO, or we can supply you with one at a price to you.
I don't want to explain to the people who've never heard why we were talking about making cakes out of people's bowels.
Can you eye the woman who hasn't seen this before? That
She is shaking her head. She is shaking her head. She's
leaving,
doing...
Matt. She's leaving. Oh. I'm out.
Was bowel cape? Was that the?
Yeah, that was
the
it.
line.
That was the line.
That was the line. It's good to know where the line is.
You've got to know. Bowel capes.
We won't talk about... She just went straight over my head. Bowel cape, straight over your head. That is a terrible thing to happen. Whoa.
That's not how you put them on, for starters.
Bowel cape, that's exactly where they go. Straight over your head, around your neck.
Around your neck.
Can we stop?
Yeah, sorry.
Please do. Hey, Jess, please, do go on.
Thank you so much. So, George Cornell, killed. Blind Beggar Pub in Whitechapel, 1966, a good year. The day before, there'd been a shootout at Mr. Smith's, which was a nightclub, and that had involved the rival gang, right? So the two gangs that had...
The Richie Riches.
The Richie Riches. The Richardson gang.
That's much better than the Richardsons.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly, but I can't change history.
Listen to some of our previous episodes. I think we can.
Good point. Good point. At the shootout the night before, an associate of the Krays, so like one of their gang members, Richard Hart, he was shot and killed. So a lot of people thought that Ronnie killing George Cornell was like revenge, right? I've just skipped ahead of myself, which is probably smart.
So for modern people, they shot Biggie, so we shot Tupac. Am I right?
Wait, your modern reference is about 30 years old?
Is that before he was born?
Yeah, I said that.
Almost.
No, it was about 1994.
Okay, yeah, great. Right when you were in the peak of your...
Yeah. If you're trying to get an alibi for me, where I was the night that Biggie was gunned down.
Yeah.
Playgroup.
Yeah. I genuinely probably would have been.
You never know, it could have been a weekend. You could have been at home. You could have been doing any number of things. You were 4, you were a bright kid.
They're not bright enough to kill a man.
Wait, is this bright?
Perhaps too bright to kill a man. It just makes you think, doesn't it? Really. It really does.
You have... Oh, okay. That is confusing. Jess?
Yep.
Can you maybe take Dave's mic off him and do go on?
If you were still on the stage, you'd be able to do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's too late for that.
Too late for that.
I've made my bed and chair and I will sit in it.
Okay. So, this is kind of a cool... I guess it's cool. I don't know. I'm a little bit sick, but I think this is kind of cool. So,
Wait for Bob.
The public shootout led to the arrest of nearly all of the Richardson gang, the Richie Riches. They all got arrested.
I'm so glad you're calling them the Richie Riches.
Yeah. So this is the shootout the night before, right? So Cornell, by chance, he wasn't there. He wasn't at the club during the big shootout, and he wasn't arrested. And so he was visiting the hospital to check up on his friends, and while he was sort of visiting, and as he left, he chose to go to the Blind Beggar pub, which was only a mile away from where the Krays lived. And Ronnie was drinking in another pub when he learnt that George Cornell was at the Blind Beggar, and so he rushed over there to confront him. Apparently, he walked into the bar, walked straight up to Cornell and shot him in the head in public view. Somebody else who was there as well was a bit confused. They fired other shots into the air as I'm
a bit confused here.
You see a man's head get blown off. I know my reaction. It's a natural thing.
Saved the day again. Yeah, so that was a little bit... Oh, I think it was warning the public not to report what had happened to the police. All of you, keep your mouth shut.
Right. So,
But he did that in Morse code with his gun.
Apparently, just before he was shot, Cornell remarked, "Well, look who's here."
which is also Tupac's last words.
Oh.
What was that? Whoa! What was that
Is
noise?
that true, Dave?
That is absolutely untrue.
But
Commit, mate.
do we have proof that it's not true?
Exactly.
So it could be.
Okay.
I wasn't there that night, or was I?
No.
Well, look who's here. A 4-year-old boy from Melbourne, Australia. Oh, shit.
Not again.
Yeah.
Little Davey warned
Not
him he
again.
did it again.
Not again. And then he started firing into the air as he died.
He was confused, yeah.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
No.
Another one of their crimes. So this is on the 12th of December in 66, a good year. The Krays...
You're doing it to yourself now.
Because if I don't want to pause for ages and then they'll get bored of it. And do you guys want to do it?
No. Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought yeah, okay, no, fair enough.
I know that you're sitting in the audience, mate,
I
but
feel
you're
like
supposed
I'm
to
their-
be
I'm their
participating
rep
in this
now.
bit. You're their rep.
I'm the number
Is
one
there,
audience
is there an
member.
audience union now?
Yeah. We've unionised and we'll fight you motherfuckers up there. The big end of town. Am I right? Who's with me?
What's the revolution?
I'm not sure what we did to require revolting.
Well, yeah, that's the point. You don't know. We know.
Uh-huh.
You've held us under your bloody big Nazi boots for too long. It's the biggest thing about him.
This is very untrue. And I will sue you. I will sue you and you will pay me £40,000 for what you said.
I will fucking kill you.
I'll fucking kill the love you!
It just keeps giving. Oh, it's so good.
It's fun to do, it really is. It really is fun. It's fun to threaten a room full of people that are paid to be here. It's great.
A room full of people who are lovely and supportive.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Oh my
Have
God.
we mentioned that we're really thankful of you guys being here?
No.
I mean us. I'm one of you now.
Are you shouting the whole gang drinks later?
I mean, you've
I
extrapolated
mean, you're the,
a little bit
you're
there.
the union rep, and I think that's what union reps do, so I guess you probably will be. This is...
With the reunion reps, just buy everyone a round of beers. Well, that's them safe for the year.
That is classic affluent East Jess
Oh,
Perkins,
fuck
who just does not understand how the working man and my struggle, our struggles. Viva la revolution!
He's turned everyone against him. And I have no idea what we did.
Yeah. Well,
Privilege is what you did, Jess.
Okay, bad feminist. That's great. May I go on?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So, 12th of December, the Krays helped Frank Mitchell, the Mad Axeman. Fucking great nickname.
that's great.
Fuck Bop.
Would you like to be called the Mad Axeman?
Yes, please. Or just the Maxman. I don't know. I like portmanteaus. Anyway,
A portmanteau of what? Max and Axe?
Mad and Axeman.
Oh, sorry. I missed
Maxman.
the word man there.
Mad. The Mad Axeman.
The sequel to Mad Max. Max.
They helped this guy, Frank Mitchell, the Mad Axeman, to escape from prison. Ronnie had befriended Frank while they served time together in a different prison, and Frank felt that the authorities should review his case for parole, as so many prisoners do. And so Ronnie thought that he would be doing him a favour by getting him out of prison, which would then highlight his case in the media and force the authorities to look into his parole review, which makes a lot of sense.
What, so he's hoping by getting out he will be paroled?
Yeah, if you break out of prison, then they're going to take you more seriously, you know? Like,
Look, I'm
oh,
already
maybe-
out anyway, so
Yeah.
Just rubber stamp.
See?
save you the paperwork.
So that was their thinking.
That's a terrible plan. What happened?
I agree. Well, once Frank was out of prison, the Krays held him in a friend's flat just to, give him a roof over his head. But he was a large man with a mental disorder, it says, and he was difficult to control. Eventually, he disappeared.
I really hope that's the end of him.
He disappeared. Where'd he go? Not sure. No more questions, please. So the Krays, they were acquitted of his murder. I don't think they ever found a body. But
So when you say disappeared,
He
you're
disappeared.
thinking that he disappeared.
he disappeared. Brigadier. He disappeared.
Disappeared Major, is that a rank?
In
Can't
the
confirm.
military.
In the military.
Military.
At the Royal...
So
So
You think that they took? So they broke a guy out of prison, decided they didn't like living with him, so they took care of him.
no, he
Oh, that's
disappeared.
They took care of.
See, now I wish
his...
they could see your face because you are so fucking smug with that one. That's nice.
That is not true. That is a poor reenactment.
No proof.
Less beard. What?
So a friend of theirs, Freddie Foreman, another great name.
Oh, that is really good.
Good name, Freddie Foreman. He claimed in his autobiography was called Respect, which should have been Aretha Franklin's, but
And
Freddie
also,
Foreman got there first.
also the title of Tupac's autobiography. I don't think he wrote one. He died very young.
So Freddie Foreman said that he shot Frank as a favour to the twins and disposed of his body at sea, but nobody, there's no proof of that. He could have just been like, yeah, I'm a pretty cool dude.
Right. And when he published that,
I'm a cool dude, I killed people.
Was he worried that he'd be charged with murder?
I think it was really just all about selling books, mate, you know?
Oh, great. So I can just claim that I killed lots of people. Expect no repercussions except millions of dollars.
Correct.
Oh, that sounds great.
This is great.
Yeah,
This is great. We'll do that. We'll be
That's
doing
what
that.
we've been doing wrong on this podcast, is not admitting to crimes.
Yeah.
Have we not?
You have.
Oh.
Oh boy, you have.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll keep moving on because we like to ramble, but we do have time constraints. So the
Hey, everyone. Bit of shush, please.
yeah,
This is on you.
keep it down.
I have been silent. I have been listening intently, and I will pass the exam at the end of this with flying colours. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, there's an exam.
There will
Sorry, I
be an
forgot to mention that.
Some of you probably would enjoy that, I know.
There's a quiz at the end. The Kray's criminal activity remained hidden behind their celebrity status and their legitimate businesses. I also like that legitimate is in quotation marks, so I don't think they're legitimate at all.
Right. So I just want to really quickly ask. So they shot a man in the head in daylight and haven't gone to jail for it.
Yes.
That's amazing. That is.
Or did he? I don't
That's
know.
amazing. If it was, if
There
it was
we
a
go.
bit darker.
If Matt's talking, I've got time to
Daylight
sit
was the key point there, right? So they shot him in daylight, there are no repercussions. But in your mind, if it was, twilight or a bit later than that, then,
Dusk.
obviously you get away.
Yeah, of
Is
course.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the rule.
Are you with me? I feel like I'm losing them. I really want him to say the revolution line on mic, but he won't. Wait, now that I've said it on mic, he might. Wait.
Viva la revolution.
He said it way more powerfully before.
Yeah, because before he was speaking from the heart
With
and
passion.
with passion, and now you're
I've
just
lost
kind of
him.
now
I have
you're
lost
just
him.
making him your little monkey. You know?
My big monkey. Fucking hell.
Just do go on.
Thank you. Okay, this is good. Apparently, in October of 1966.
66, that's the year the Saints won the
Oh,
game.
fuck off!
Every fucking time. We will specifically avoid the 60s from now on, so you don't ever get to say that.
What were TISM doing then?
Tism. They were going through high school, primary school.
Primary school.
They were
Dad,
probably
primary
being
school?
born, I reckon.
66, yeah.
Great, thank you.
My dad went to school with one of the guys in TISM.
What
Anyway,
the Oh, yeah.
we talked about that. You can
That's
chat to Dad
so
about that
cool.
later.
I can't
Okay.
wait to meet your parents. Specifically your dad, but also Annie.
they already hate that I've pointed them out. Okay, so in October of 66, Reggie was encouraged by his brother to kill Jack the Hat McVitie.
That's what we should call the hat.
Jack the Hat McVitie. That's good.
Yes! Jack the Hat!
No, it has to be Jack the Hat McVitie.
McVitie.
We have to remember that.
I'm guessing that's how you say it. It's MC...
Chuck it in the McVitie.
Chuck it in the McVitie. Oh, that's the best.
Who suggested this one? This is from the hat?
Oh, I did forget to mention. Hang on. This is suggested by Jerome Williams via email. So yeah, that's in the hat because he emailed it. So yes.
Thank you. Is Jerome here by chance?
I don't think so.
You piece of shit, Jerome. What a dog.
What a... You know
Suggest
what?
them leave.
The report's over. We're done. I'm not going on with it. No, I will.
Anyone got any other suggestions?
No, not now.
I'll
We
just-
have
I'll
about 10,
Google it.
10 minutes left in our room slot here, so
Yes.
we probably do need to...
Dave, are you rushing me?
Oh.
I'll finish when I want to. Thank you.
Or what? You'll fucking kill me!
No, I think we're on track. So Jack the Hat McVitie, he was a minor member of the Kray gang who had failed to fulfil a £1,000 contract, half of which was paid to him in advance to kill someone called Leslie Payne. Another great name, but not a great fate.
Payne. Hey, that's not a bad way to
Oh,
go.
Les Payne.
Les Payne. More, time for your family.
You cracked yourself up there.
Oh, it was very
He
good.
enjoyed that a lot. Okay, so he'd failed to fulfil his contract, and he's in their gang, but Ronnie was like, hey, kill him, to Reggie. So McVitie was lured to the basement flat on the pretense of a party. Like, hey, Jack the Hat, you coming to the party tonight? It's going to be sick. You're going to have the best time ever.
One, it would be nice to die in your best clothes, party clothes. Two,
Only you would think of that.
Yeah. Like, for
What
example...
shirt would you die in, Dave?
Oh, probably this shirt. How fucking cool. If you owned this shirt, you'd want to die as well. It's got huskies on it. Oh.
Is that from the Dilatov Pass? Wait, that's not right, is it?
Diatlov. You also
Fuck,
just
that's a
said we
hard
have
word.
10 minutes. Sit
Sorry.
down.
Sorry, please go
can
on.
show off
so
your shirt
they've lured
later.
him to a party.
To a party.
On the Bounty, and... Oh, that's a very recent episode.
Jack the Hat come to the party. Once he got there, though, he saw Ronnie Kray seated in the front room. And he's like, okay, well, I must be early. Must be early to the party. As Ronnie approached him, Ronnie let loose a barrage of verbal abuse and cut him below his eye with a piece of broken glass. It's believed that an argument then broke out.
Is it at that point that he realised, I don't think this is a party.
Yeah. This is a weird party.
This is weird.
But I like it.
What an inefficient way to kill someone. Take a little bit of glass.
Just a small incision, just under the eye, and then hope it gets infected.
Yeah.
In 3 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, cop that, dickhead.
It's believed that then an argument broke out between the twins and...
Oh, there's an argument after that. Oh, hey, hang on. Not on, mate.
So weird you sitting there. But I also like it. So they're fighting. As the argument got more heated, Reggie Kray pointed a handgun at McVitie's head and pulled the trigger twice. But the gun failed.
Twice.
That's an embarrassing thing.
That's embarrassing. So, I mean, it's not written in history, but I'm pretty sure Jack the Hat has well and truly shot himself by this point. You imagine that, like, click, click. Oh, no. Wait there. Where's my other gun? So then McVitie was then held in a bear hug, which seems kind of nice, by the twins' cousin Ronnie Hart.
I'll never let you go.
Hey, shh.
Quick, give him the support he deserves. He's
I
feeling
love
very
you
vulnerable.
so
Someone just pulled a
much.
gun on him.
Yeah, he's had a big day. So he's held in a bear hug, so basically just held still, and Reggie Kray was handed a carving knife.
Oh no,
Seems
the bear hug has gone very wrong.
He stabbed McVitie in the face and stomach, driving the blade into his neck whilst twisting the knife, and not even stopping once he's laying on the floor dying. Are you laughing at me acting out the twisting?
No, I was just having a go myself.
Matt, do you want to have a go?
This is how I would do it.
Ooh.
That feels good.
Isn't that fun? Everybody, if you want to have a go, no pressure.
Everyone, knives in the air!
A
Yeah!
little twist. Isn't that fun? Murder's fun.
So they just kept stabbing and stabbing and stabbing.
Yep.
Jess, are you still on board with these guys?
Hey, they've got their reasons.
Yeah, Jack the Hat, he's a bad guy.
I'm running out of time a little bit, aren't I? I'll keep moving through.
Yep.
Which is my way of saying, Matthew, shut the fuck up.
It was
No,
subtle
I'm
and
kidding.
I liked it.
I'm kidding. You're okay. Anyway, however, it's thought that Reggie never intended to kill McVitie. And he was lured to the basement flat to be put straight by the twins. Hey, let's bring him in and let's just have a chat. Have a little chat, maybe a bit of a stab. We'll see how we go.
Well, I'm under the assumption that the human body can withstand 19 stabs exactly.
Yeah.
But if you accidentally stab someone 20 times, they could die. And
Yeah.
that is clearly what's happened.
Yeah. They wanted to just be. They
Just
wanted to be heard.
It's just one
you
too
know?
many. Just one too many.
Oh boy. Whatever the motive, Reggie had committed a very public murder against someone who many of their own gang members didn't really feel deserved to die. because he's killed one of their own, let's remember. So people don't think that's great. With the body being too big to fit in the boot of a car, they wrapped him in a quilt and put him in the back seat of the car.
How fucking big is he?
He's a big dude.
Well, they've got a hatchback.
No, he's just a
Didn't think about that.
he's just a full-grown adult.
Right. Just because I could fit in the glove box, all right.
By the way, I've been asking this. I was asking this last week when we met some listeners. Was anybody kind of disappointed that Dave is like a normal-sized person? When he walked out, because we talk about him like he's pocket size. Like, oh, our little
50
baby.
kilos. 50 kilos.
Yeah.
Adults don't do that.
Hey, you're okay.
Thank you. I am.
You're just tiny.
I need some food, guys.
So they've put him in the backseat of the car, and a guy called Tony Lambriano, is that right? Who cares? Drove the car with the body, and his brother Chris and a guy called Ronnie Bender were following in a different car. And the back car, so the car that was following Tony, they lost him at one point. You know when you're following your mates, they're like, just follow me, and then they go, and you're like, oh, fuck. They lost him, and this is before like smartphones or mobile phones at all, or GPS. So they got lost, and they spent like 15 minutes driving around trying to find him. And they eventually found Tony. He was outside St Mary's Church, where he'd run out of petrol.
This is terribly planned.
Oh, it's so good. And McVitie's body's still in the car. And so they had no alternative rather than to just dump him in the churchyard. So the body's left in the car, and the three gangsters just returned home in the second car. They just left the car there.
Oh,
Which
thank
is smart.
goodness. So obviously that was the last we heard of that.
All done. Exactly. Ronnie Bender then went and phoned Charlie Kray, the Kray Twins' older brother, and he informed them that it had been dealt with. But when the twins...
Yeah. Hey, don't worry, no one will ever find the body. No. It's all good. It's all good.
When
Church
the twins...
is going out of fashion. No one's going to church
No one's going to
anymore.
church. It's fine. It's fine.
When the twins found out what had happened, they were really mad. So they phoned Freddie Foreman, who was running a pub kind of nearby, and they wanted to see if he could dispose of the body. So with dawn breaking, he found the car, broke into it, drove the body to New Haven, where with the help of a trawlerman, the body was bound with chicken wire and dumped in the English Channel. Freddie Foreman to the rescue, everybody!
Yay.
Freddie Foreman. I know I'm running out of time, aren't I? So I'll skim, is what I'll do, and I'll do
Twin
that.
summary.
See, normally if we ever get to this sort of point and we're in the studio, I'll go, okay, hang on a sec, and there'll be like a couple of minutes of kind of silence while I find what I want to say, and now I can't do that because you're all here, so just gonna be like, yeah, cool. All right, so there's a guy called Inspector Leonard Nipper Reed, another great nickname. He's chasing him. He's put on the murder squad. Great squad name. And his first assignment is to bring down the Kray Twins. Nobody wants to talk. I'm summarising what I read this morning because that's when I finished this report. Nobody wants to talk. And then they give them secret meetings. And they're like, you're safe. Just tell us things. And then the Kray Twins want to peg other crimes on some of their gang members, and the gang members are like, that's kind of fucked. So then they start talking, and I just saw my dad roll his eyes when I said, that's fucked. Sorry, Dad. I can see you, Dad. Right, so
Honestly, Jess,
Yep.
though, I think swearing is beneath you.
we had to
Me and
enforce
John and everyone else reckon that you should bloody clean up your act. Am I right, fellas?
Viva la revolution!
Hey, Matt, which member of the podcast did we have to enforce a rule of no more C words?
Oh, it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we've got about 2 minutes on the clock
Okay,
here, Jess.
no problem. I will finish up. And they went to prison.
Yeah! That's the kind of revolution I'm talking about. Justice. Serve.
You guys are such nerds. Bad guys went to prison. Yay! They got like 30-year sentences. This is kind of cool. In '85, officials at the Broadmoor Hospital discovered a business card of Ronnie's, which prompted an investigation. It revealed that the twins, who were incarcerated at separate institutions, were operating a lucrative bodyguard and protection business for Hollywood stars, together with their older brother Charlie and an accomplice who was on the outside. The officials were concerned about this operation. It was called Kray Enterprises, but there was nothing really, they had no legal basis to do anything about it. They were kind of allowed to run this business. Among their clients was Frank Sinatra, who used the service by hiring 18 bodyguards on his visit to the 1985 Wimbledon Championships. He needed 18, apparently.
A notoriously violent tournament.
Regrets he had a few, so...
I hate you so much. A couple of quick things. So Ronnie Kray was a Category A prisoner. He was denied almost all liberties and not allowed to mix with other prisoners. He was eventually certified insane in 1979 and lived the remainder of his life at Broadmoor Hospital. Reggie was locked up in Maidstone prison for 8 years and then was transferred to another prison as well. Ronnie was still serving time at the prison hospital when he died of a heart attack in 1995 at the age of 61.
Thank God.
During his incarceration, Reggie became a born-again Christian. He was freed from Wayland on the 26th of August 2000, my 10th birthday, after serving more than the recommended 30 years.
It's the one gift you always wanted.
Justice.
Set the murderer free!
He was 66 and he was released on compassionate grounds for having inoperable bladder cancer. The final weeks of his life were spent with his wife, Roberta, whom he'd married while he was still in prison. And in October of 2000, he died in his sleep, and 10 days later, he was buried beside his brother Ronnie in Chingford Mount Cemetery. And that is the story of the Kray Twins.
Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen! Get up for Jess. What a great report.
Thank you.
We will have to hastily wrap this up as we've got another show coming in here at 5 o'clock. But thank you. Give yourselves a big round of applause for being our first ever live audience. We really do appreciate you coming out.
Hey, if you guys...
It will. It'll be coming out this Wednesday if you want to hear yourself applauding.
Yeah, Viva la Revolution. You'll hear that.
A little dream. But also, we're all doing shows here at the festival. Mine is on the whole run. It's on tonight. Plenty of tickets available. There's a discount code for listeners called Pretty Podcast. And you should motherfucking come. It'll be really good. I'll face the audience and stand up. It's a real sweet experience. Yeah. And I'll hopefully be funny also.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah. It is on at the Chinese Museum in Chinatown.
It is.
Melbourne, Australia.
It's a great show. It's a great show. You guys should absolutely go and see Matt.
That's true. I'm doing the Blind Dating Show Spectacular, my first show tomorrow night, with Jess and Matt as some of my special guests. That's at 8:30 at the Melbourne Town Hall.
I'm going to find love!
Yes! And Jess, what is your show?
My show's called Twins. It starts on the 11th. It's with Naomi Higgins, and she's absolutely amazing, and it's going to be pretty sick, so you can absolutely come along to that as well.
Yay!
We're going to hang around, and we'd love to meet some of you and chat to you. Some of you.
Yeah. Not all.
You know who you are. No, we'd love to chat to you.
If you're at home or in Ohio, we also would like you to hang around.
Yeah, please.
We'll eventually see you, maybe. All right, what?
But we do have to go. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. We got to pack this up, but we'll be downstairs in about 10 minutes. Thank you so much, and good night! Yay! Woo!
That brings us to the end of the first ever live Do Go On. I hope you enjoyed it. We certainly had a really good time being there at the show. And anybody who was there in the audience, thank you so much. It was so cool to see some of you there. And the moment that people said a good year was probably the happiest moment of my life. As per usual, we do need to thank a few Patreon listeners, and because I am doing this by myself, I apologise in advance to all of these listeners, because you know I am really, really bad at thinking up clever pun names, so I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to be genuine and thank you, and I hope that's okay. So, first of all, I would like to thank the very lovely Pete Free. We did pronounce your name incorrectly a little while ago. I think Dave called you Piet, or maybe Matt did. It sounds more like a Matt thing. But you corrected us, and it's Pete. And thank you so much, Pete. You're an absolute gem, and you've been there for ages now. You've supported us from the start, and it means a lot to us. So thank you so much. The other person we would like to thank as well is Yana Nickel. I'm sure Dave probably would have had something really clever about nickel. Matt probably could have thought of something else pretty clever too. Again, I'm bad at this, but I want to tell you genuinely, Yana, that It means a lot to us that you listen to our podcast and that you support us. It is so cool of you, and you are most likely an incredibly cool person, just based on the information that I have about you so far. So thank you so much. And finally, for this week, I need to thank someone who I feel like probably gets in contact with us a bit on Twitter, because I recognise your handle there, but we need to thank Cameron Zern being one of the coolest surnames ever. Congratulations on that, Cameron. Thank you so much for your support as well. Again, you've been there from the very beginning, and that's really cool, so thanks so much to those three. So Pete, Yana and Cameron, you are absolute champions, and we thank you so much for listening and for supporting the show. It really means so much to us. If you would also like to support our other shows, if you are in Melbourne or Victoria or Australia and you have access to a plane or a car and you want to come to our other shows, we are all three of us doing shows in the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Matt's show is called Pretty Dry. He's at the Chinese Museum. And he is on at, I think, 7:30. Sorry if I'm wrong there, Matt. I'm thinking 7:30. He's all the way through till the 23rd, so you can check him out any night of the week, except Mondays. No Mondays. And we saw, Dave and I saw his show during the Fringe Festival, and it is seriously a hilarious show, so you should absolutely check that out. It is so good. Dave is doing his blind dating show Spectacular. So he's just doing Monday nights. So there's 2 more shows left, the 10th and the 17th of April. Matt and I were both guests on Monday, the Monday just gone, the 3rd, and it was so much fun. It is just the most hilarious, silly show. He's got his love expert sidekick, Dr. Neil Potenza, who is incredibly funny, and it's just such a good show. Dave is such an amazing presenter, and he's just such a charismatic, fun dude. He just carries it so well, and the whole show is just an absolute scream. So if you're in Melbourne and you want to come to that, do that. That's at 8:30 at the Town Hall. And I am doing my show. My show will start next Tuesday, and the 11th it kicks off. It's called Twins, and it's a split show with another amazing comedian, Naomi Higgins. She's absolutely awesome and just a delight. So we're doing our split show at the Greek Centre. We're 6:15 from the 11th to the 23rd. For all of these shows, you can just get tickets at comedyfestival.com.au and punch in our names, and you should be able to find us that way. And that would be really awesome, because we love to get to meet you guys, and we love to eat, and this is how we make our money. If I'm just going to be completely transparent about it, give us your money. So I think that's everything that I was supposed to do. I'm sure I've forgotten something, and the boys will no doubt pull me up on that. But make sure you're coming to our live shows. We've got 3 more. So we've got the 9th, and then whatever 7 days after that is, and then 7 days after that we've got 3 more shows, and they're going to be so much fun. So if you're in Melbourne and you want to come along, you better snap up those tickets, because they're actually selling pretty fast, which is awesome. And for now, I will say bye.